See the fractal patterns everywhere in the waves? Wow, look at the water, crystal clear. Isn't that amazing? 100% Caribbean water, lukewarm, just amazing. Look at the beach, look at those rocks. They're quite suspicious, those rocks. They're worn down by the ocean, but they look very suspicious. I mean, and it's kind of really rocky down here. I don't know if you notice people hitting their toes on the rocks. I shouldn't be laughing because I've done it a few times myself, but you gotta wonder what's underneath this place. Is it limestone? What kind of stone? And would there be pyramids maybe from ancient times, immemorial? You never know, because the hurricanes hit this area and the beach goes bye-bye, and then they got to bring in truckloads of sand, and then like you see, they're taking out the rocks. But I mean, if you've had flooding, if you had tsunamis, you don't know where those rocks have been. Literally. So there could be, like in Tulum, pyramids that have been swallowed up by the oceans. Never know. But look at the fractal patterns here. I'm trying not to move the water too much, more than it's already moving on its own. So the amazing here is, why is the ocean moving on its own? Apparently, all the time. Look at the wave. Look at the wave. They're all fractal patterns. Can you see the pattern? I'll check on the computer later if the resolution is there, but I think it is. And you see the fractal within the fractal within the fractal. That's phi. That's divine geometry for you. Divine geometry. Phi 1.618 to the infinity and beyond. The golden ratio. You see it everywhere. You also see it in the waves when they're crashing. It's also a fractal pattern. You see it in the seashells, in the conch shells. You see it in your face, in your arms, your fingers, your nose, your ears. You see it in the clouds. You see it everywhere. You see it on the leaves of the trees. What is that number? You know, it's a relationship, but why is it everywhere? Why is it manifesting everywhere? You gotta wonder. I should probably be doing the voiceover later because there's so much wind. And that brings me to my other point. Why is it always so windy on the beach or out in the ocean? Always so windy. I mean, there might be times where it's less or it's more. Remember, hurricanes, typhoons, monsoons originate in the ocean. So there's some food for thought. The relationship between the air and the water, the prana, and the mighty oceans. Look at those fractal patterns. Rippling, 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 rippling. Incessantly. Unstoppable. Quite literally unstoppable. There's nothing that could stop these waves, even if anybody wanted to. There's no power on earth that could stop the might of the oceans, God's oceans, right? And they just represent one tiny portion of God's power. So if you believe, if you don't believe, it doesn't matter. We're all going through this life here, this experience, and it's pretty amazing. So you got to keep your eyes open and try to see beyond just seeing. Try to perceive. Try to hear just beyond hearing. Try to listen. And most of the scriptures, Bible, Vedas, everywhere, they mention time and again. I'll throw some of those slides in there that you can't actually perceive or see or understand without God's consent or His divine grace. So that's another food for thought. How many times did you hear or listen to something in the past, and then you saw it again, and then you understood it in a completely different light? So it just goes to show you, we've all been there, and that's more than enough proof. That's all the proof you need. Look at that. What is that? Like a Nile? That's some kind of fish. Do you see it? Straight and narrow, green, blends in with the color of the water. I mean, lakes will have some sort of waviness, but it's never to the degree of the oceans. And I was on the plane looking down over Cancun, and you could actually see the lagunas on the other side of the Cancun island, or the Cancun Peninsula, whatever you want to classify it as. You could see quite literally the ocean waves on one side and then the lake completely still on the other side. So that's pretty amazing. Where's that vibration coming from? Is it cymatics? If it's cymatics, then why isn't the lake vibrating the same way as the ocean? Maybe it's smaller? Well, maybe there's a different explanation. Okay, so we gotta keep on searching, keep our perception open to the possibilities, keep our minds sharp, right? So endless ocean waves, just endless, continuous. Where's all that energy coming from? It's got to be coming from somewhere. Is it coming from within the system or outside of the system? Just some things to think about. Let me know your thoughts on the comments. Like, subscribe, share.